Thank you for visiting us on 1060catholic.org. I'm Scot Landry, announcing via this video that Janet Benestad, who's here with me, is the new general manager for 1060 Catholic Radio Boston. Welcome and congratulations, Janet.
Thank you so much, Scott. As you know, this is an honor and a privilege for me to serve 1060 Catholic Radio Boston. Jim Wright and yourself, who is the president and leader of WQOM. I'm delighted to be in a position to be able to work with all of you and the team in Buffalo, as well as a great advisory board here in Boston, in order to bring 1060 Catholic Radio to the people of Boston and the wider Boston area.
So, Janet, you've been very familiar with 1060 Catholic Radio. You were a tremendous supporter at the launch 5 years ago. You were one of our first guests on the first episode of The Good Catholic Life, which ran for 3.5 years. And you've been on our advisory board since we started it here. So you're very familiar with Catholic Radio. You've always been a strong supporter. And you might be familiar to many of our listeners because of your experience overseeing the Secretariat at the Archdiocese for Faith Formation and Evangelization, and then after that, the Cabinet Secretariat for the New Evangelization. As part of your duties, you oversaw the educational campaign to defeat physician-assisted suicide, which was a huge win for those of us who support life from the beginning from conception to the end of natural life. And you also oversaw the Catholics Come Home campaign, perhaps one of the most significant evangelization initiatives that we've had in the last decade in the Archdiocese of Boston. But you bring all of that experience to Catholic Radio to help us grow radio as a form of evangelization. Why is radio such a good means to help inform people about the Catholic faith, to help those Catholics who listen to deepen their faith?
I'm so grateful to Cardinal Sean, as you know, Scott, for the opportunities I had at the Archdiocese. They were challenging and they were extremely, extremely fulfilling. What great work to invite people to know and love Jesus Christ. And that was the opportunity that we had to do at the Archdiocese, especially with the Catholics Come Home campaign. And we were also very, very grateful that we were so successful with the PAS campaign. This was all done through the leadership of Cardinal Sean, who has been a visionary in terms of evangelization and has been insistent upon evangelization being the linchpin and the thrust of the work at the Archdiocese of Boston. So I'm just delighted to have been a part of that. As you know, I got my first impressions even of Catholic radio when you launched The Good Catholic Life at the Archdiocesan Pastoral Center, and was able to be a part of those programs. And I loved doing those shows because it gave us an opportunity to talk directly to people at a time when they were listening to us. They were in their cars, they were in their homes making dinner, they were maybe driving their kids to school, or had a few minutes in between doing something, and they're not only willing to listen, but they're comfortable in the setting they're in, and maybe they're paying a little more attention to radio than they might even to television, where you have the distraction of pictures and a lot of other things going on in the home or in the place that you're watching that. So I think radio is just such a wonderful way to talk about our faith and to do the work of evangelization, which is, again, as you know, very simply inviting people to know and love Jesus Christ.
And that's very similar to the work of Catholic Radio in terms of your biggest objective is to grow the engagement that the Catholic community has here with Catholic Radio. More listeners, more parish captains, more people who are, giving a little to help us expand our marketing efforts so that we can get even more people to listen to Catholic Radio, because we read testimonial after testimonial that comes in. That Catholic Radio can change people's lives, not just because of the radio, but because of the truth, the invitation that we put out there for people to come back to the sacraments or to know God in a deeper way. We had those billboards a couple years ago, which were tremendously successful. Try God. Now, that was a message for people that might have been away, not only from the Catholic Church, from any faith in a long time. And, we want to help reconnect people to God. That's the ultimate objective. But what we measure the success of Catholic Radio is how many people are engaged, how many people say that they listen, how many people download the app. And we have a new one, Catholic Radio Boston. Please download it if you have apps on your iPad or iPhone or other type of smartphone if you're not an Apple type person. But we want more people to listen to Catholic Radio, and data from across the country say that the three main reasons people listen to Catholic radio is, one, a friend or family member or fellow parishioner just passes on, I love Catholic radio, here's how you listen. It's that word of mouth, so word of mouth. Second is, people are driving along the road and they see a bumper sticker or a bumper magnet on the car in front of them. They might be having the worst day that they've had in a long time, and they're seeking peace. And then they see Catholic radio bumper sticker, they turn it on, and then they might be hooked. And then the third is, people hear about it from their parish. They might see a poster, they might see a bulletin announcement. And on that last one, we need more parish captains, and there's a way to sign up on our website, 1060catholic.org, for that. But talk a little bit, Janet, about your hope for many people watching this video to partner with you to just get the word out more about Catholic radio.
I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If you're watching this video, please do the things that Scott has mentioned. Call a friend and mention that you heard about 1060 Catholic Radio and that you listened to it. Call and we'll send you bumper stickers. Put them on your car. Talk to people about what it is that draws you to Catholic radio, what it is that you find out when you listen to Catholic radio. This morning I happened to be listening to 1060 Catholic radio in my car, and there was a wonderfully uplifting story about a woman who was dealing with an addiction and suffering with the effects of that. And she was helped to develop an approach in order to deal with this both spiritually and physically, and in order to put her on the right track to please God's recovery. And the end of the conversation was, and her name was Francine, and the end of the conversation was, Francine, all of our listeners are going to be praying for you today, and I'll ask you to pray for Francine today. This is the way in which we can spread the faith, our trust in God, our belief in God, that God is active in our lives every day. So I ask you to do any of these things. Call a friend, tell them about 1060 Radio, put the bumper sticker on your car. This is a great opportunity for us in Boston to spread the Catholic faith among those who live in the Boston area who may not know Jesus Christ in the way that we do, or may not have had the opportunity to reflect on their relationship with God.
I know in your first couple months, Janet, you're hoping to meet as many 1060 Catholic Radio listeners as possible. How are you going to try to create some opportunities to meet with some of our listeners?
I am, Scott. So we're planning some meet and greet events in and around the Boston area, perhaps in parishes or someplace that would be easy for people to get to. I invite you to look for those on the website and to please participate. If you think you have a place where we should have one of these, where you have a lot of supporters, please contact me. I'd be happy to hear from you and try to plan something in your area so that I can meet you and we can start to work together to expand Catholic Radio Boston.
And then around the 1st of November, which will be the 5th anniversary of 1060 Catholic Radio Boston, All Saints Day, sometime a week prior or up to a week after that date, we'll hold a big 5th anniversary celebration, probably with a mass, a speaker, a State of the Station address. And that would be a great time for listeners to not only meet you, but to meet each other, because we do know that the folks that listen to Catholic Radio are not all of, but many of the most devoted Catholics in terms of living their faith and sharing their faith that we have around us. So we need each other. I'm
looking forward, Scott, as you know, to the 5th anniversary celebration. I had the privilege of being at the Archdiocese when Jim Wright, the president of WQOM, and Cardinal Sean initiated Catholic Radio, 1060 Catholic Radio in Boston. And I am just thrilled to be here 5 years later in order to celebrate that and to help our listeners in order, as you say, to meet one another and to partner in the work that we're doing. This is such an exciting time to be a part of the Catholic Church. We have the visit of the Pope to the United States coming up. We have the World Meeting of Families in Philadelphia, and we have the Synod in Rome coming up in October. Catholic Radio will be reporting on all of these events and helping people to understand how these events and how the teachings of the Church affect their lives on an everyday basis. So this is just such an exciting time to be part of Catholic Radio. I invite all of you to join us at that 5th anniversary celebration.
She is Janet Benestad, new General Manager of 1060 Catholic Radio Boston. I'm Scot Landry on your behalf. I welcome and thank Janet for taking on this role. And we thank you for all you do to build up the Catholic Church in our area.